Hey everybody, so I'm going to redo this video because there's a lot of interference, plus then I got some weird people on my Facebook that I had to delete. So anyway, so the universe is made up of positive and negative elements, okay? And negative elements and positive elements are relative to the human body. So the human body, it has an elemental composition to where you have oxygen being the most abundant with the first 9 elements that your body needs, and salt and water and magnesium and potassium. All right. And then you have the last other half of the elemental composition, which are the negative elements, which are trace minerals. And those trace minerals will either be absorbed to keep the balance relative to abiding by the laws of the immune system, as well as being filtered out if there's excess accumulation of heavy metals. So why people have heavy metal toxicity is because they have violated the laws of their immune system, and they are holding on to so much poop that is full of heavy metals. And that's why you're seeing the cancer, disease, and chronic illness of that heavy metal accumulation, the heavy metal toxicity. And then what compounds the problem is that we have the holistic community dabble in the antibiotic world. So let's figure out what antibiotics are. Antibiotics are anti-life. Those are negative elements. And they are made up of a major amount of condensed heavy metals, negative elements that throw the balance off the body, causing heavy metal toxicity. And they're using those heavy metals to detox the body, to create an immune response. No different than using thimerosal in a vaccine for the flu shot to energize the flu shot to create an immune response to cause the antibodies to be created from that bacteria. Okay? No different than what these holistic professionals are doing with, let's give an example of a detox, zeolite. I watched a holistic professional basically recommend zeolite for people who have multiple sclerosis because of the heavy metal issues that are in the brain that are causing neurological issues. And I'm going on her Facebook page going like, why would you at all prescribe, promote, or even suggest zeolite? It's aluminum silicate. So if you look beyond the word zeolite or garlic or any of those, you will find the elemental composition, the chemical composition of these said detoxes that I'm going to list out in a minute. If you look at what they are, they're all negative heavy metal elements. Negative elements. So what are these negative heavy metal elements? Well, we have diatomaceous earth, another aluminum silicate. It is a powder that completely asphyxiates the cells. It destroys cells. And it creates an immune response. Then you have the zeolite, which is aluminum silicate. Then you have the bentonite clay, which is another aluminum silicate. All clays basically asphyxiate and they suffocate the cells in the body. And they create such an immune response that yes, your candida may be cleared out temporarily because you poison everything inside your body and you might feel a little bit better, but then guess what? Over time, the candida builds up and then you haven't done anything to repair your body because you keep poisoning it over and over again and bringing to surface more poisons, and then your body still malfunction. It's going to get reinfected because it cannot filter out all of those negative toxic elements that you just brought to surface, as well as you brought into your body using it as a detox. So you are now compounding the issue with all of these negative elements like bentonite clay. Oh yes, and kombucha. It is a fermented sugar or fermented tea, and tea is antibiotic, okay? Tea is herbal, it's antibiotic. And then you ferment sugar. Well, what does sugar do? It feeds candida. That amount of lactobacillus that gets created in the kombucha will do nothing for you when you keep feeding the candida. So you've completely just, undermined any progress when you're utilizing sugar as part of your, fermentation thinking that the pairing of that with the lactobacillus can do anything for you. No, it doesn't. Kombucha is detrimental to the body, and it's so mainstreamed out there, and it will compound your problems. And that's no different than the apple cider vinegar. That is being promoted all over the place. That's what I was doing right before I created my protocol, was I was drinking gallons and gallons of kombucha and then using apple cider vinegar here and there. But guess what apple cider vinegar is? It's acetic acid. It's ethanol. And it's fermented fruit. Okay, so that stuff is going to work against you and destroy your teeth and destroy your cells and destroy your gut and cause more mutations in your body, because it destroys your gut and leaves you open for every single virus that's floating around, whether it's from vaccines or from your sexual partner or just from being in a crowded place. When you destroy your gut actively with apple cider vinegar and kombucha and all the things that I mentioned, you're leaving yourself open. And then guess what? Baking soda. Baking soda. So you have sodium, right? Which is the sodium bicarbonate, right? That's what baking soda is. So you have the sodium, which is energizing force. And then the bicarbonate is basically a soda water, right? Soda. It's carbonation. It's CO2. And we know for a fact that carbonation is bad for your gut. All that soda water and the sodas, the diet sodas, are all negative elements that destroy your gut. So you're taking an energizing force such as salt with no other minerals behind it, and you pair it and you energize a negative element. No different than sodium fluoride. Fluoride you need in trace amounts, right? But when you're taking sodium fluoride in massive amounts, like in your water or when you brush your teeth with it, and you're swallowing the toothpaste and everything else, that sodium is energizing a fluoride that is only needed in trace elements, and you're taking this stuff as if it was like something that that you need. And no, you're basically throwing the balance off your body and you're energizing a negative element. So that's why there's this whole thing about sodium fluoride in the water, why everyone's going up in arms. But the amounts at this point are not deadly unless you're, I mean, they're not deadly if you're doing, something that's going to counter those forces. And that is the lacto-fermented cabbage and kale will counter those effects. But that's what baking soda is. It is a negative element that will destroy you over time. But it's being used as a temporary remedy for digestive issues, which, why would you compound the problem with negative elements when you have a digestive issue, which basically is your gut? And so you're not even properly, filtering out and taking in the right thing. So now you're going to add more negative elements. All right. So then we have the lemons and limes. Lemons and limes are totally acidic. They're not alkaline to where it's friendly to the balance of your body. They're alkaline. They're so alkaline that it actually is antibiotic, because they're no different than putting the dial to 10 and 9 on your Kangen water, where you have the choice to have a 7 pH versus a 9 or 10 pH, where it's so alkaline that it actually acts as an antibiotic. So anybody using major alkaline water like Kangen and it's higher than 7, you're actually undermining the potential benefits from the live active cultures and the nutritional content in my recipe. So don't be using lemons and limes, because they're also used as cleaners. They take off calcium and rust off of metal and chrome. You really want to have that in your body? Taking off metal and chrome, taking off rust from metal and chrome and calcium? No. And then all the herbs. Go into your spice cabinet. Google anything that you take as a flavoring and see if it's an herb or a root, like the ginger root, like turmeric. Those are so pungent. Anything they use as a spice, like in India, China, America. So that includes all the cilantros, the parsleys, the garlic, which is a root, or a bulb, or allium sativum, like in the onion family. All negative elements. Super, super detox, right? What else? Basil, every single spice, and extracts. Extracts use an actual very severe chemical process to extract that out of the plant or the tree. Okay? And so they're using like benzene and other aggressive antibiotic ways to extract that stuff, and then you're using it on your body, which actually is an antibiotic. It drives the infection back in your body if you're ever using it in reaction to cancer, disease, and chronic illness. So all the herbs, the pungent roots, and that includes the golden milk, the turmeric, the ginger, and the honey. Honey is severely antibiotic. Honey has been coined as something nutritious for people in the holistic world. You can't even feed babies honey. You know why? Because it has mycotoxins, for one. Number two, it's so antibiotic, it will destroy your gut health. And it feeds candida. Honey is probably the worst thing you'll ever put in your child's body, in your body, and even on your body. Never, ever take Manuka honey or any honey. I don't care if it's a store honey where they're using, like, you know, who knows, some kind of weird syrup with honey flavoring, or the ones that you go out in the garden and you go get. Honey overall is so bad. And also garlic. Garlic, if you look at the elemental composition of garlic, it's all heavy metals. Mercury, arsenic, all of that. All heavy metals. Look past the marketing. The English language is very, very deceptive because you don't look deeper than the word. So you look at garlic, you look at all the marketing behind garlic. Oh, it's an antioxidant. Oh, it does this. Oh, it does that. And then people fail to look at what it actually is made up of and what it's actually doing to the human body. It's a negative element. Then we have the elderberry syrup. Oh, now we're heading into cold and flu season. All the little crunchy mamas and whatever are feeding their kids honey, elderberry syrup, which basically elderberries that is totally taken down into a concentrated extract, a syrup, no different than taking maple syrup and pouring it in your body, or honey. It's all concentrated sugar to feed the candida. And then the antibiotic properties are the things they add to it, like the turmeric and the honeys. And what else? I mean, you could look at ginger, lemon, what they put in the elderberry syrup. Look at all the ingredients of the elderberry syrup extracts that they have on the market, or when someone makes it themselves in their own backyard or their own kitchen. It's all negative, and they're destroying their children's gut health, and they think they're being healthy when actually it's quite the opposite. And then we're looking at all the prescription drugs. So all antibiotics. So antibiotic is anti-life, right? I don't know if I mentioned that, but it is anti-life. And it's being used in reaction to cancer, disease, and chronic illness and pain. And so we have things like, you know, amoxicillin, penicillin, right? To basically kill viruses and everything else in your body. We have painkillers like opioids. We have cannabis. We have, and those could be all pills, powders, and supplements. I mean, we have all of the medications for diabetics, as well as people who are paraplegic and quadriplegic, because it's you know, pain management. What else? Things for the thyroid, hormones. You know, people take in like vitamin D in a liquid. It's a hormone. It's hormone replacement therapy. You can name every single thing, whether it's MMS, to magnesium, to vitamin B12, vitamin C, ascorbic acid, everything that when you walk into a holistic store, a natural food store, and you go to all of their supplements, whether it's a pill or powder or supplement, all of that is antibiotic. Because it throws the balance off the body, for one. Number two, they extract only a few components from the fruit, and they call it, oh, this is vitamin C, when they're taking little specific elements from the oranges and from the lemons that have vitamin C, and then they add in other elements, and so now it's synthetic vitamin C. Or it's, yeah, I mean, they basically bastardized and broke that fruit down, and then just separated the elements and only took and sold and say, oh yeah, this is vitamin C because it came from a vitamin C molecule, but we just kind of separated the different parts of the molecule, so you only get 2 out of 5 of the benefits. All right, and then essential oils. Essential oils, those are all heavily concentrated, pungent liquids that are antibiotic. And when you're using them on your skin, you're burning holes and burning your skin, and you're driving infection back into your body. When you're using essential oils topically and internally, you are destroying the balance of your body. There should be very limited times you ever use essential oils. I only use them really to freshen up the air, and I use them occasionally I use them like maybe once or twice a day because I love the feeling of fresh breath. But I don't swallow it. I may wash my mouth out with it because I don't use any toothpaste, and I use a little bit of if I need to take off any stains off my teeth for whatever reason, I'll use a little bit of diatomaceous earth right on, right there. But charcoal, activated charcoal, all of those pills, powder, supplements, and detoxes, and clays and charcoals, all of those are antibiotic. Peroxide, hydrogen peroxide, all of those are antibiotic. Anything used in the holistic industry in reaction to cancer, disease, and chronic illness are all antibiotic. Turpentine for parasite cleanses, all antibiotic. When you're killing parasites, you're also killing you over time. Because when you're using these elements for a long period of time in reaction to problems you have in your body, guess what? You're compounding the issue, and you're taking years off your life. Just because you don't die right away because you're using zeolite and clay and you're feeling amazing, right? But guess what? It's going to make your death trajectory go faster because you're not actively actually fixing the leaky gut, so you're able to absorb more of the nutrition, and then you're causing more mutations because you're actively destroying your body with negative elements that are even making, if you have a hole this big, right, in your leaky gut, and then you're taking more negative elements and you're not really repairing anything because you can't absorb any nutrition, guess what? The hole is going to get this big, and then all the mutations that you have are going to start getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and then guess what? You're on that major death trajectory where there's nothing that anybody can do for you because you have not done anything to help yourself. And then you'll be in hospice because you've completely broken down your body to the point of where if you really truly wanted to regenerate your cells, you would have to go through so much pain to get there. And we have so many people who cannot handle pain and are whiners, they wouldn't be able to handle the healing process. So they would rather just die than actually deal with the healing process. Because pain is healing. And we have stagnated our healing process because we can't handle the pain and are not reinforcing our body 100% and deal with the pain and face the demons. So what do? We actively take all of these things that anesthetize us. So we can be pain-free, and being pain-free is what they deem as healthy in the holistic and allopathic world. When you have to go and be pain-free, when you have to actively go find something to make you pain-free, you are contributing to your death process, especially if you're not taking the right positive elements to eventually make you pain-free over time. But no, you're not going to be pain-free right off the bat. Sometimes it happens if you take the right elements that are positive, and sometimes it doesn't. Your body has an intellect. You better tap into that. Have a good day.